Welcome to this deep dive. And today we're going to do things a little differently. We're going to go way back in time, billions of years, to explore the world of LUCA,
Yeah.
the Last Universal Common Ancestor.
Yeah.
It's amazing to think that every single thing on Earth that's alive, from bacteria to the biggest whales, all share this one ancient organism as their ancestor.
Yeah, it really is a remarkable concept. I mean,
Absolutely.
we're peering into this primordial world that existed long before the continents were even around to try to understand the foundations of life on Earth itself.
Right. But here's the thing, though. We don't have like a physical fossil of LUCA sitting in a museum somewhere.
Right.
So how do scientists even begin to figure out what this ancestor might have looked like?
It's kind of like if you can imagine assembling a massive jigsaw puzzle where the pieces are scattered across billions of years.
Oh, wow.
Scientists study the shared features of all sorts of modern organisms, their DNA, the ribosomes, the structure of their cells.
Yeah.
And by comparing these features across, the vast tree of life, they try to work backwards. They try to infer what traits were likely present in this common ancestor.
So like a detective story,
Exactly.
using clues from today
Yeah.
to go back billions of years.
Yeah.
What do we know about LUCA? I mean, what does the picture look like?
Well, the evidence suggests that LUCA was a single-celled organism,
Okay.
but don't let that make you think that it was simple. Because even at this early stage, LUCA was surprisingly complex.
Right.
It had DNA as its genetic blueprint, just like we do today.
Yep.
It had ribosomes, those tiny cellular machines that build proteins. And of course, it had a cell membrane,
Right.
that crucial barrier separating its insides from the outside world.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So complex even back then.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm picturing this little tiny organism in a world that's so different from our own.
Right.
What do we know about the environment that LUCA was living in?
Well, that's a question that sparked a lot of debate among scientists.
Yeah.
For a while, the prevailing theory was that LUCA thrived in hydrothermal vents.
Oh, wow.
You know those volcanic fissures on the ocean floor?
Yeah, those are pretty dramatic.
They are very dramatic.
Yeah, so I can see why people would think that LUCA was hanging out down there.
Yeah, but recent research suggests a different picture.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a little less dramatic.
Okay.
Several lines of evidence point to LUCA being a mesophile,
Oh, okay.
an organism that prefers more moderate temperatures.
So not necessarily a boiling cauldron.
Not necessarily.
What kind of evidence are we talking about?
Well, for one thing, scientists can look at the ratio of certain nucleotides in LUCA's reconstructed RNA.
Okay.
And this ratio doesn't line up with what you'd expect for something that lives in extreme heat.
Okay.
Additionally, if you analyze the amino acids in LUCA's proteins,
Yeah.
they point to an optimal temperature range that's way lower than what you'd find in a hydrothermal vent,
Got it.
probably below 50 degrees Celsius.
Fascinating. It seems like scientists are really starting to pinpoint where LUCA might have lived. But, okay, so if LUCA was a mesophile,
Yeah.
what does that tell us about the Earth's climate billions of years ago?
Yeah.
And how does that explain that its descendants include organisms that can live in such a wide range of temperatures,
Right.
from extremely hot to extremely cold?
Right. Well, that's where things get really interesting. You see, if LUCA preferred these moderate temperatures, but its evolutionary offspring adapted to live in all these diverse environments,
Wow.
it kind of suggests that there might have been a huge climate shift sometime after LUCA.
Oh, wow.
This raises questions about how life responded to and diversified in the face of these really dramatic environmental changes.
That's a really interesting idea,
It is.
a post-LUCA climate catastrophe.
Yeah.
We'll have to dive into that a little more, but before we do, I'm really curious, how did LUCA actually live its life?
Yeah.
What did it eat?
Yeah.
How did it get its energy?
Well, based on the metabolic pathways that are shared by LUCA's descendants,
Okay.
scientists think that LUCA probably used a process called chemiosmosis to make energy.
Okay.
Now, that might sound a little complicated,
Sure.
but just imagine a little tiny pump within LUCA's cell
Okay.
that's moving ions across a membrane.
Okay.
This movement creates kind of an electrochemical gradient,
Okay.
which LUCA could then use to produce energy.
Got it.
It's much like a water wheel, harnesses the flow of water.
Oh, okay. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I can picture it.
Yeah.
But what about LUCA's lifestyle? I mean,
Yeah.
was it like a plant making its own food,
Right.
or more like an animal relying on other things for food?
Well, when it comes to LUCA's diet, things get a little more complicated.
Okay.
It might have been an autotroph, meaning it could create its own food from simple molecules like carbon dioxide,
Right.
much like plants do today.
Right.
Or it could have been a heterotroph getting food from other sources,
Okay.
similar to animals. The key to understanding this is a metabolic pathway called the Wujung-Dahl pathway.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this pathway.
Okay.
And how it gives us clues to LUCA's lifestyle.
Well, what's remarkable about the Wujung-Dahl pathway is its versatility.
Okay.
It can work in both autotrophic and heterotrophic metabolisms.
Wow.
In other words, it's kind of like a multi-tool that would have allowed LUCA to either make its own food
Yep.
or get it from its surroundings.
So even back then, life had options.
Exactly.
That's cool. But I'm curious, how far back in time are we really talking?
Yeah.
What's the age of LUCA?
Well, based on the latest research using molecular clocks,
Yeah.
a method that scientists use to estimate evolutionary timescales,
Okay.
LUCA might actually be older than we initially thought.
Oh, wow.
It's possible that it existed before a period known as the Late Heavy Bombardment.
Wait a minute, the Late Heavy Bombardment.
Yeah.
You mean that time when Earth was being hit by a ton of asteroids?
Exactly.
Billions of years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
If LUCA lived before this cataclysmic event,
Yeah.
it suggests that life on Earth might have been incredibly resilient,
Right.
able to survive even the most extreme conditions.
That is profound.
Yeah.
But think about the tenacity of life to get through something like that.
Yeah.
And from this one ancient, resilient organism,
Yeah.
all of this diversity of life that we see today emerged.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. But you know what?
What's that?
It's highly unlikely that LUCA was alone in this primordial world.
Right.
It might not even have been the first form of life, and it definitely wasn't without its challenges,
Right.
including some very tiny but formidable foes.
Oh, yeah.
Viruses.
Viruses.
Viruses were around that early.
Yeah, it seems so.
Wow.
And
Tell me more about these ancient viral attackers
Okay.
and what they can tell us about the early stages of life on Earth.
All right. Well, it paints a picture of this world that's just teeming with life, not just cellular life, but viral life too, even in these really early stages. And it kind of challenges the way we typically view the tree of life,
Yeah.
suggesting this more complex and interwoven web of interactions instead.
It's so interesting. It's like this marketplace where organisms are constantly sharing
Yeah.
information and even genetic material with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
But, speaking of the tree of life, I remember learning about the 3 domains,
Right.
bacteria, archaea, and eukarya.
Yeah.
Where does LUCA actually fit into all of that?
Right.
Was it like the root of this tree giving rise to these 3 totally separate branches?
That's a question that still causes a lot of debate and research in evolutionary biology.
I bet.
While some scientists see LUCA as a single organism that led to these 3 domains,
Yeah.
others are thinking about a different picture. What if, instead of a clearly defined tree,
Yeah.
early life was more like this vibrant network
Wow.
where organisms are constantly swapping genes and blurring the lines of descent?
A network instead of a tree. That's a really cool idea.
It is.
And it really challenges how we traditionally think about the evolution of life.
Exactly. And this concept of horizontal gene transfer is super important for understanding this network.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into this. What is horizontal gene transfer? And why is it so important for understanding LUCA and its place in early evolution?
All right, so imagine a group of chefs, okay, and they're all sharing recipes, constantly adapting and modifying their dishes based on ingredients or techniques that they learn from each other.
Yeah, okay, I like that analogy.
Horizontal gene transfer is kind of like that. It's the transfer of genetic material between organisms that aren't directly related through a parent-offspring lineage.
Okay.
This means that organisms can gain new traits and abilities not just from inheritance,
Yeah.
but also by picking up genes from their neighbors, their rivals, even completely different species.
So instead of a family tree with these clear lines,
Yeah.
we have this constant exchange of genetic information. It's like everyone's mixing up the recipes.
Exactly. And when you apply this to LUCA and the origins of life,
Yeah.
it becomes even more fascinating.
Right.
If this horizontal gene transfer was happening all the time back then,
Yeah.
it makes figuring out a single LUCA a lot harder.
Right.
It's like trying to find the original source of a dish that's been shared and changed so many times,
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
You might find some common ingredients,
Right.
but finding the exact starting point is nearly impossible.
It makes you realize that early life was a lot more interconnected and collaborative than we thought.
Yeah.
And it makes finding LUCA's place in this whole web of life much more difficult.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that the history of life is full of surprises, and it doesn't always fit into our neat categories.
True. True. Okay, so we've been talking about LUCA, this super old organism that represents the ancestor of all life on Earth.
Yeah.
We've talked about where it might have lived, how it lived, its remarkable resilience, its place in this complicated web of early life.
Yeah.
But why should we as humans living billions of years later even care about this tiny ancestor?
Right.
I mean, it lived in a world that's so different from ours.
Mm-hmm.
What's the relevance of LUCA to us today?
That's a great question. It's easy to focus on the details and forget about the bigger picture.
Definitely.
What is it about LUCA that is so captivating to scientists and makes it worth all of this research?
It's a good point. LUCA was around at a time that's hard for us to even imagine. But really, it's our story, too.
Yeah.
It's about tracing the origins of life, understanding where we came from.
Exactly. Studying LUCA is like looking in a mirror and seeing our deepest biological connections.
Right.
It shows us that all life on Earth and all its diversity comes from the same place. We all share a heritage.
Mm-hmm.
It all stretches back billions of years to this one ancestor.
It is a humbling thought to think that everything from the tallest trees to the bacteria in our bodies came from this one tiny organism.
It really is.
That survived in a world we can barely comprehend.
Yeah, and it's not just about the past either.
Okay.
LUCA's story also has lessons for the future. Well, by learning how life began and how it adapted in such difficult conditions, we gain insights into how resilient and adaptable life is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This knowledge could help us in our search for life on other planets.
Oh, wow.
It helps us to imagine what could be possible out there.
So LUCA's story is important for our understanding of life, not just on Earth,
Exactly.
but possibly in the entire universe.
Right, and it emphasizes how important scientific research is.
Yeah.
The more we find out about LUCA and the beginnings of life, the more we realize how much more is out there to discover.
We still have so many questions about LUCA,
We do.
its environment, and how life itself really began. Like you mentioned, the possibility of a climate catastrophe after LUCA.
Yeah.
What kind of event could have caused such a massive change to the Earth's environment?
Right.
Was it gradual or a sudden event? And how did life survive and change after already adapting to one set of conditions?
Those are the questions that keep researchers busy. They're
Yeah.
using a bunch of different tools and techniques, from studying old rocks to reconstructing ancient DNA.
It's like a huge puzzle
It is.
where every new piece of evidence brings us closer to understanding this key moment in the history of life.
Right.
Makes you wonder if maybe there were other LUCAs, other starting points for life
Yeah.
that we don't even know about life, that existed,
Yeah.
thrived, and then died out billions of years ago,
Yeah.
and left no trace in the lineages that we see today, almost like lost worlds of life,
It's an interesting thought.
completely separate from our own branch on the tree of life, or I guess the web of life is a better way to put it.
Yeah, that's a better way to think about it.
It's a humbling and exciting idea,
It is.
and makes you realize how much we don't know about life's history,
Yeah.
even on our own planet, let alone what might be possible in other parts of the universe.
Exactly. It reminds us that we're still exploring and there's always more to learn.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of LUCA and early life. It's been quite a journey, and we've ended up with more questions than answers, but that's what makes science so interesting.
It is.
The more we learn, the more we realize there's even more to discover.
Absolutely. And that sense of wonder and the search for knowledge is what keeps us moving forward.
It does.
Keeps us exploring the big mysteries of life in the universe.
Well, until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.